Alright, in this video I'm going to build on how to do tags and how to do notes and how we're going to use those in research methods. Now when you start using Zotero, I think you'll think that the main value of it is being able to bring things in quickly into your research, directly from Google Scholar or directly from EBSCOhost, and also the fact that it creates a reference list for you automatically. Those two things are great, but the real analytical benefit of Zotero is the ability to create notes and the ability to do tags. And those two things are going to really make your analysis much, much better than the old-fashioned methods, which were like creating a lot of index cards and having piles of index cards. Essentially, we're doing the same thing here with Zotero that we would have done with paper and pencil, but in a much more automated fashion. So I've already done a lot of work here since the last video. I brought in 50 articles. I did do that automatically through EBSCOhost, bringing in all of these at once. You would never really want to do that. You'd want to be much more selective. But for an example, to see what a lot of articles would look like all at once, I brought all these in. And I've created some notes. So if you open up this first article, you see I've got 4 notes in here. The way that I did that was by selecting the article first, going to Notes and clicking Add. And it lets me type in here and create a note. Right? I actually don't want that note, so I'm going to get rid of it. I created 4 notes here, and I created a note here, let's see, and I created 4 notes here, and some more down in some of the other articles. I also have created some tags, which you see over here. Now remember, in the last video I said you don't want to have automatic tagging. That's because you want to make your own tags. Now in this course, we're going to want to have you tag certain things in such a way that we can know who participated what, who contributed what to the literature review. And the types of tags that we're going to want you to create are tags for your name to show who did what, a tag for critical analysis, a tag for methodology, measurement, and participants and measurement. Now, these things may not mean a lot to you right now. We're going to have modules about each one of these coming up, and you'll get more into depth in that in the future. But eventually, you're going to have all these kind of tags, in addition to other tags that may identify the theme of your article. And that's going to help the group later on create an outline. But right now I'm just going to focus on these more descriptive tags that talk about specific qualities that are present in the articles. So measurement deals with the way in which data were collected. Methodology is the design type, whether it's experimental, qualitative. Participants is how participants were selected, and critical analysis is your own analysis of the article. I created dummy notes here. So for example, I've got a participant note, 57 participants. I've identified the methodology as case study qualitative, created a critical analysis note. Your notes are probably going to have more to them than these. I just made these up. And a measurement note. Right. So I've created notes, I've brought in a lot of articles, and I've got these tags here. So I next want to show you how I created these tags and how you can apply a number of things to tags all at once. The way you create tags, there's 2 ways to create tags. First way you can create a tag is by selecting an item and clicking the tags option and add a tag. Let's say I'm going to add a tag for a theme on this one. Let's say that I've got a theme of perhaps K-12 education. Maybe some of my co-teaching work is about K-12 and some of it is about something else. All right, so now I've got a K-12 tag. If I click the K-12 tag, it's just going to select that one article that I've applied the tag to. If I deselect, it brings everything else back. So let's say I'm trying to find articles. I'm trying to create this theme of K-12, and I'm reading these articles and oh, this is a K-12 article. Oh, this one is a K-12 article. And this one is a K-12 article. So I just drag them over there on top of my tag. Now I've got 4 articles that I've identified with this theme. So that's one of the ways that tags are going to be used. The other way is to identify some of these descriptive notes. So I've already done some of this tagging here. So I got 57 participants. This is a participant note. Notice my tags here are John and participants. And if I click participants here, it's going to show me this note and a few others that I associated. Right? So I've got, you can tell the ones that are bold are the notes about participants. Another thing to notice about tags, 2 more things I want to point out here, are that I can use the tags to select a couple different things at the same time, or even 3 different things. So if I select John, this is all work that is associated with the tag John. If I want to say, what did John do with participants, I click both of those, and this is the tag that is associated with both John and participants. If I deselect John, it shows me participant tags that are either John or Tiffany. If I select Tiffany and participants, it's just the tag that relates to that. Okay? And I can deselect all, and I get back to my full list. All right, so let's suppose that I've got 3 group members, John and Tiffany, and in this list here, John supplied all this, Tiffany supplied all this to the group, but we also have a group member, Sarah. Let's see here. Who did this work here. She brought in these 4 articles. So I'm going to show you how Sarah would start adding tags for herself. So she's going to tag the first article. You have to create the tag first before you can start to apply it. All right, so Sarah's created. Now Sarah can say, well, I did these 3 too. I'm going to associate all this stuff with myself right now. All right, so now Sarah's got all this work associated with her. If Sarah starts to create notes, whoops, that's a tag. I didn't want to do that. Let's say she adds a participant tag, 3 groups selected for convenience. Your notes are going to be a little more full than this, but this is an example. Right now, this note does not have any tags associated with it. As soon as that message goes away, you can look down here, there's no tag. So I can associate a note with a tag by clicking here and adding a note. Or better, once the note is already created, I can just drag it over and associate it with anything I want. So right now I've got that associated with Sarah, and it's a note about participants. Whoops. So I'm also going to associate it with participants. Right? Look at the note now. Did I get Sarah? Let me try again here. All right. So this note is associated with participants and with Sarah. Again, let me just do one more example of how this works. So I click Sarah, it shows me all this. If I click participants, I should then get notes for Sarah, Tiffany, and John. Yep. So there's one contributed by Sarah. There's one contributed by Tiffany, and these were contributed by John. So this is a quick way that we're going to use in this class to identify who's contributed what to the group. As instructors, we can simply say, let me see what John did. I'll click on John and got it. Let me see what Sarah did. Okay, got it. Let's say we're doing the module on participants and sampling. We say, what has the group done as a whole about participants? We click participants and we can see it all at once. So we want you to be creating notes to do analysis about your articles and creating tags to identify what kind of analysis it is and who's doing the analysis. Later on in the course, when you start to work on themes for your literature review, we're also going to have you start using tagging to identify themes, and we'll talk about that more as the course goes on. But your two big tools that we use for analysis are tagging and creating notes. You're going to have to play with it quite a bit before you get comfortable with it, but once you do, it's going to speed up your analysis process quite a bit.